All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're now joined by the driver of the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, Kyle Larson. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand and we will work on getting a wireless mic to you. We are going to start in the middle, please.
Hi, Kyle. Owen Johnson, Cupscene.com. You took the alternate strategy at Richmond last week, which didn't end up working out there. Do you expect to take kind of converse strategy here or go with the normal approach?
I have no idea. I don't think there's much strategy as far as like long run stuff and pitting green flag stops necessarily here, because I don't think you see the fall off quite that you do at Richmond. And 2, typically you don't see the long runs like you do at Richmond. So I would say the strategy would be different, but I think where strategy comes into play is, like at Richmond, if you get 20 laps on your tires, you're pitting. Here at Martinsville, you could potentially have 60-plus laps on your tires and stay out and gain track position that way. So I think that's where the strategy comes in rather than green flag cycles.
We're going to go to the second row on the left. If you could put your hand up, please.
Mike Embry, Auto Week. Kyle, you got the Indy test next week. How much do you know about what happens after that as far as your travel goes, the back and forth, here to there, so forth? Have you kind of mapped that out yet?
Ask John, because I don't know.
I already have. He didn't know a lot.
He knows more than I do, so... Yeah, I don't know. We don't have to schedule it yet. Yeah.
But what's your feeling now that you're approaching that? Any changes in how you're looking at it after you've talked more with the guys on the team there and so forth?
No, I mean nothing's changed. I don't know. I've been excited about it since January of last year when we announced it. So. But yeah, I mean, I don't get too overly excited about anything. So just take it every day by day, and hopefully the weather's good next week and we can get in the car as scheduled on Wednesday and Thursday, and just get to learning. I think from there, I think next week is when I'll really get to learn more about things and racing and getting to be around like my team of people, because I haven't really been, the other times I've been in the car I haven't had, and I don't even know, maybe I have been around a lot of the team members, but I'll at least have my team there next week to kind of talk to and learn from. So, and then as far as the being at the track with teammates, all of that sort of stuff will be good.
We're going to go to Bob and then Lee up in the front, and then to Jordan also in the front.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Do you know what you can and can't do on a restart as far as where you can go and where you can't? And do you have any additional questions after last week?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I think we've always had questions and probably still have the same questions. Or not even that it was a question. I think we just, we all push the zone, at certain points of the race, and especially at the end. Typically drivers go either early like Denny did, or right at it. Denny's not the first person that's ever taken off before the zone, so it's always been a game, and I don't know. I don't really know how I necessarily view it. I can see all sides of it. There's lines on the racetrack, so you could, those could be your lines that you have to go by. But then also I think, as the leader, you need to have, full control of the lead. And the zones are so small that the leader at most times, or at least half the time, I feel like is at a disadvantage because that zone is so small and it's easy to predict in time when they can go. So like last year, they made the zone the early part, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, they made the zones bigger. And in my opinion, I think that helps the leader. And you see less games outside the zone. I think you get more, strategy going within the zone, which is fair. But, Fontana, everybody behind, I think it was Logano, tried predicting when he was going to go, and he just waited till the end of the zone, which was legal. And they all crashed, and then NASCAR thought it was a zone length issue, and it was really just competitor issue. So I would just like to see the zone a lot bigger, even bigger than it used to be or was early last year, because then I think you get those I hate calling it games, but strategical moves within the zone. So I think you would see less jumping of a start if you had the zone longer.
We're going to go to Lee next, and then Jordan Bianchi.
Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. We're more than a quarter of the way through the regular season. Where do you think your team stacks up? I mean, you've had speed, your pit crew's been solid, but there has been a bit of inconsistency.
I wouldn't necessarily say there's been really any inconsistency. In my opinion, we've been way more consistent than we were last year. Results probably say the same as well, a little bit, but last year we were like winning or DNF. This year we've been up front. We've challenged for, I don't know, I feel like a couple wins. We've won one. We've been up front for a lot of races, but Atlanta, Kozlowski spun in front of me. Nothing I could do there. Coda, Bell got into me, spun, nothing really I could do there.
So you'd say it's more bad luck than inconsistent?
And not even necessarily bad luck, but I think as a team we've been performing way more consistently than we have maybe ever. At least 2021 we were like so much faster than the field. It was easy to be consistent, but at least in the next year area, we've been performing way better than we have the other years so far, I believe.
We're going to go to Jordan Bianchi.
Thank you. Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. We know the importance of this week for Hendrick Motorsports and everything, so kind of twofold. One, do you feel more pressure to win this week? And then two, has there been any special talks or pep talks or rallies or anything leading into this today or this weekend?
I would say, to answer the first question, I wouldn't say I feel any more pressure to win. I don't think probably any of us 4 drivers feel any more pressure to win, but we know what the magnitude of a win this weekend would mean for the company. So, I don't think that's any more pressure or any more emphasis on the weekend, but we all try to go out there and execute as good as we do every week, or as we can every week, and hopefully the results ends up in a win. And then as far as like pep talks, no, because I think that ties into the first answer. Like we all know, kind of what this weekend means to the company. So there's no real pep talk needed to remind us how important this weekend is.
And is there a young driver out there that's caught your eye that's coming through the ranks and you think, wow, this driver has got, the opportunity, the ability to win at the cup level?
Sure. I mean, I think there's drivers, I would say, like, for me, I look at, like, I don't watch, like, a ton of truck races or even Xfinity that much, but I feel like that Corey Haim's really good. I feel like he's really, really strong in the truck stuff. Even when he gets in the Xfinity cars, he runs super competitive, and I don't believe, like, he's got the funding and the resources that like the JGR cars have. So I feel like he does a really good job. I think then there's guys that haven't quite made it to pavement racing or stock cars that hopefully will get an opportunity down the road that would be really good. And like from the sprint car sides that I pay a lot of attention to would be like Corey Day. He's 18 and very mature, and races really hard and smart, and I think he could potentially have the full package to get an opportunity and make it someday.
We're going to move to Jermaine. I know there are a few people that want to ask questions, but unfortunately we're going to have to stay on time. We have a couple more drivers coming in, so we need to make sure we stay on that schedule. Go ahead, Jermaine.
Well, Kyle, first of all, we appreciate your time. I got to ask you, obviously, next week is the Texas Motor Speedway race there. Just your thoughts and feelings about racing there, and what is the key to having success at the Texas Motor Speedway? Because they've tweaked a few things there recently.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they've tweaked recently, but since they've repaved the track, however many years ago that was, and all that, Texas has been a very fast place. It's kind of interesting track. I like it because our team is fast, but then there's parts of it that I dislike as well. But I guess that could be said about any track. But I'm excited to get there next week. We were the dominant car there last year, and I just made a mistake on a late restart. So we've won an all-star race there. We've won a cup race there, and then we've led a bunch of laps in other races. So I look forward to getting there and hopefully have another good weekend.
We're going to go to Davey next. He's right in front of you in the green jacket. And then we are going to move to Dustin and then end on Nathan, and then I'll go up to the press box.
Davey Siegel with SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. I got a kick out of the Instagram post that you put up in the simulator when you were kind of like sleeping and then the music woke you up. I assume you hadn't really done anything like that before, but what was that like for you, and what benefit do you think that it gave you and maybe will give you come May?
Well, I mean, I definitely don't run the sim in anything that often, but it's very relaxing in there between little runs because it's dark, and you're in a molded insert to your body, so it's easy to get relaxed and tired. So catch some naps in there for sure, and then you hear the rig kind of fire up, and then you get ready to go. But no, I mean, I was in the Indy sim this week, and it really wasn't to learn anything about the car or anything like that. I really just wanted to kind of everybody's steering wheel's different, everybody's kind of layout with the buttons and knobs is different, so just trying to kind of dial in what's natural for me to reach and get to buttons and making adjustments throughout a lap, stuff like that. So that was really the main takeaway from it. I wasn't in there very long at all, but it was really just to kind of like, hey, before you go there next week, maybe let's make this button mean something different, stuff like that. So it was good to do.
Did you actually fall asleep?
I don't know. I was definitely close if I didn't fall asleep, but I don't know. It looked like I was.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, I'm curious from an athlete's point of view, but also as somebody who oversees a racing series, and in essence from an official's point of view, all the talk about the overtime restart last week, NASCAR says they don't want to make they don't want to make a ruling unless they're certain, and there's a little bit more willing there to give you guys a little bit more room. And we see that in other sports. How important is that, and how do you view the idea from an athlete's perspective and from an official's perspective of being lenient on procedures or rules at the end of the race to allow the athletes to determine it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I know they have a tough job in the booth or wherever they manage the race from, and making all the correct calls and this and that, and nobody's ever 100%, or 100% of the population's never satisfied with the call or not call. So it's tough, but I think what most athletes from this series or other forms of sports just like consistency, from what I hear. So I would say I would be in the same category of just being consistent, and if the end of the race call is consistent to what was last week versus like I heard them say, if it was early in the race we would have probably made a call, like if that's their view and they stay consistent within that, then I guess that's okay. But it's just finding some consistency would be I think what most of us would like to see.
We're going to go to Nathan, and then we'll have time for one question in the press box.
Nathan Son with a podium finish. Kyle, obviously you have the win, so does that kind of change the way you can approach things in terms of an aggressiveness standpoint the next several weeks?
No, I don't. I feel like anytime you win, you get that question a lot, and I'd be curious to hear if any other driver's answer would be anything different than no. I mean, we all try to call the races to win each week, so at least with a top team at Hendrick anyways. But so no, I think we just try to continue going forward and executing whatever we got to do to win.
So we actually have no questions from the press box. So thank you for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.